Hey everybody, it's Rachel Archelaus. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm overjoyed to see you going into the chat box and watching this. This is our third class in a series of 4. Today is all about service. And oh boy, I bet you can all give me lots of stories about, feeling the need to serve, knowing that you're here to make a difference, babysitting, helping your friends get through tough times. Like, this service piece can really manifest in so many ways. And today we're really going to dive into it. And we're going to take the inner truth and the expression classes. And really, this is where those aspects meet the real world. Like, this is where all that information of your inner self really meets your physical life. And so today is so cool and so important, and I cannot wait to get started. I see many of you saying hi, hello, great to see you. We're going to be doing some intuitive drawing today, so make sure you have your supplies handy. And if you have any technical issues, just refresh the page. That normally seems to work. If you cannot hear me or anything, let me know. I can adjust my settings. I did my radio show this morning. We had a few Skype issues, so a Google Plus issue would not surprise me. So just let me know about that. There's so many new people joining this series. And so if you are new and you have not watched the other Hangouts, don't worry about it. They are below. And so you can catch up on your own time, or you can go back and watch those and then come back and watch this one. It will be on the same page. So just, introduce yourself, say hi, hola. I see some new names, Billy Ray, hi Bernard. So grateful to have you here. It's such a wonderful conversation we're having. And, I'm really talking to intuitive, creative. You may have your own business. I know most of you do or have in the past worked for yourself. But today we're really going to talk about service in this weird thing that we all feel like we need to give something. I'm wearing my Art Heals shirt today because this is the uniform I have when I volunteer for free arts for abused children in Arizona. And I love my current job because it allows me to serve at a high level and, be compensated for it with money and all those other things. Like, I love what I do. I love my clients. I'm humbled by them. I'm excited by them. I'm totally fulfilled in that area. But I also have free time so that every Friday or when needed, I can go and work with kids who obviously can't afford to pay me because their parents are often going through a really hard time. Some of them are on drugs. Some of them are just homeless. There's so many circumstances that can cause somebody to need the Save the Families services and free arts services. And I'm just really, really grateful that I can devote almost a whole day of my week to helping those kids and to doing art with them and to really combining my love of sharing, my love of art, my love of teaching, and all those things that are in my inner truth and my expression with people who can't afford it, because I have built a life where I do make an income from those inner truth and that expression in a different way. So yeah, I'm so excited to be here. This is really the part where you get to change your life. The inner truth piece was about discovering your unique inner gifts. What is in there? What is it that you have to offer? And how can you be more connected to yourself, right? So we did those drawings of what your inner self looks like, and they were beautiful. And again, if you haven't already gone into the Facebook group and shared your drawings, feel free. The link is right under this video. Especially all you new people, come on in, introduce yourself. Don't be shy. And so then the expression class was all about, what do we want to express? How do we want to express that inner truth? So I express my inner truth through art, through speaking. I love making videos. And that was really apparent in my drawing. And we also asked a really cool question of, what do we need to heal in order to be more expressed? Because often we were cut down, we were called names, we were told to go sit in the corner, we were told to be quiet, and our expression has really been dulled over the years. And we wanted to know, how do we get our expression back? How do we heal that part of us that is wanting to express so fully, but is just feeling unsafe about that? So that drawing was very important. And then for homework, we did, what does my life look like being fully expressed? And I saw all of your beautiful drawings in the Facebook group, and I did my own, and it was so moving to see your drawings and to see mine. I'm just so excited about this. So imagine if you took your inner truth, you expressed it, and you combined it with that feeling that you want to give back and that you want to serve humanity. What would that do to your life? I mean, holy cow. We already talked about the fact that abundance is linked to expressing your inner truth, right? But when you combine people with that, people who are receiving it, because to serve, there really needs to be a receiver. All right, you can express to yourself. You can express in your room. I was just toning and making all kinds of weird noises, expressing myself in my room. I've got paintings all around me that you cannot see, so I'm not expressing them to you. And it feels great. It feels amazing. And I get more abundance in my life when I'm doing those things, even in private. Energetically, it all works out. But when you combine that with an actual receiver, like when you are making a painting for someone, for a client, when you are working with children, when you are being a nurse, when you are doing your coaching, when you're teaching your class, when you're making your web video, like Jess Webb premiered her new web series today. It was just beautiful. When you're interacting with people in service to them, that is where it all really comes together. So take a moment here and just like breathe that in, right? First, get that feeling of inner truth in your body. Just breathe in inner truth, right? Get into that vibration of you really embodying what you've got to offer. Feels pretty good. All right. And then breathe in that you're fully expressing yourself. There's no hesitation. There's no censorship. You're just being yourself. Imagine what that is like, and just take a moment, breathe that in. You're fully expressing your inner truth. I feel tingly. And now imagine in front of you, there's a sea of people desiring your service. They want your expression. They want to interact with it. They want the benefit of interacting with your expressed inner truth. They're happy about it. They're happy to pay you for it. And along with the money comes all the other forms of fulfillment, right? Knowing that you are touching other people's lives, you're helping them transform, you're helping them see things in a new way, right? And not only are you being yourself, you're being creative, you're doing your own thing, but another person is being healed and touched by that. Is there anything greater in the whole wide world than that combination of things? I have not found it yet. Even when I was starting my business and I was really not making much money, I felt like $1,000,000 every time I was with a client. Every time I was in service to someone, every time I was just letting my expression and my inner truth come out. Most of us, we channel things and we don't even know it. right? When we feel in flow, when we feel like we're doing exactly what we need to do in the moment, the right words are just coming out. That is in a channeling state. You're actually channeling your higher self, your soul, your guides. Everything is just effortless. It's just coming through. And that kind of feedback is really what's created. You're letting all of that beautiful divine energy come through you. It's being reflected back to you through joy, through feeling satisfied, and through abundance. And this balance here, it can be really difficult to create. I know that. It took me a while to figure it out. And it took me many business incarnations to find the balance. For a long time, I was only working in the spiritual plane. I was only really focusing on delivering readings, and I wasn't focusing on the business part or the creative part, right? So in my inner truth, I like all of those things. So I love the marketing side. I love that form of expression. For me, it works. I love the masculine building of systems. I love being in the etheric realms, right? I love working with spirit, talking to people's spirit guides. And then I also love the more solitary act of painting and expressing through art. So I love all those things, and I didn't always put them together, right? Like I see a lot of you, you're nurses. A lot of nurses I have as clients, a lot of lawyers, chiropractors, doctors. You guys have the service thing down. You have that nurturing, helping thing down. But there's often a real lack of creativity in those fields, right? Like you at least feel boxed in. It's really difficult to, I know I have a lot of nurse friends even, to add your own spin on your nursing, to treat the patients the way you want to treat them rather than what's just protocol. I hear this all the time, and you desire more for yourself and you desire more of your inner truth to be in your work. But if you're in a field like that, I know it can be difficult. And so you try to find things on the side. And, for a while I did this in my business where I was doing gallery shows and working with the New Haven art scene, even volunteering there, like I love to do. And then doing readings on the side. And then I had a day job. And so I was trying to have everything in my life, but it wasn't unified yet. And I was very, very busy and very, very burnt out, as you can imagine. At one time I had, I think, 4 different jobs because I knew I could have all these things in my life. And I just couldn't figure out how to put them all together yet. And that was okay. It was part of my journey. But I just want you to know I really empathize with you in that if you don't have this completely fulfilling work yet, and you want that, it is possible. It's just you're just on the journey to it. Now, I found my great mix in finally seeing the light of day. It's probably so obvious to everybody else, but to combine my intuitive art with my business of, doing readings and teaching. And I've wanted to do that for over 10 years now. But for some reason, I had to learn this all the hard way. I needed to see every piece, and I needed to see that I wasn't really fulfilled as a whole in each part, right? So there were times during the day when I was doing things that could have been more fun. If I infused my inner truth into every little bit of my life, that's what I really wanted. And that's really where you get that real sense of fulfillment. And it wasn't really, I was feeling good, but now is when I really felt like I put everything together, and it feels much, much easier. So yeah, what is it for you? Go back to your inner truth for a second and think of all the words that you use to describe it. So mine, but mine won't help you. So what are they for you? I'd love to see some in the chat as well. I know somebody was integrity. There was creativity. What is your inner truth? Put them in the chat so I can see. I'd love to see. I refreshed the wrong page. Sorry about that. That's the stuff that's going to happen today. Yeah. So exciting. What do you want for your life? You know? Aha, here we go. Bernard says energy. Kate says love, creativity, spirituality. Yeah, love. You want to love every second of your day. You want to love your clients. You want to love what you're doing. You want to love how you do it, right? Mary, fear, right? So if you haven't already transcended your own fear, you're probably going to help other people transcend their fear. Right? I was just on a call with somebody last week who was helping me transcend a fear. So there's a very beautiful way to work with fear and fulfillment. Fun and playfulness, passion. Yes. Yeah, you know, these are all amazing words. And what if you had access to these words and these feelings all day instead of just part of your day? So what if I hated my job 4 days a week and then I got to go volunteer and play with art with kids? That would not be so fulfilling, right? It's just that my job allows me the time to go and play with kids and art at the same time. I love this. Fun, peace, creativity, integrity, grace. I want you to take a moment and sit back in your chair and breathe those words into your body. And what I mean by that is just we can access our emotions if we think about what, you know, a time when we were feeling those words. So if you're not so connected to your body, you can think of a memory that has that word. Like if your word is love, you can think of the best hug you ever got, or kissing your first love, or, you know, the love you have for a pet. Think about that memory and then allow your whole body to soak up that feeling, right? So take a moment, breathe into those feelings of your inner truth, and then I'll give you a minute and then we'll come back. Cool. So, you know, a lot of people are afraid of going into the service realm because they start to doubt themselves, right? Like, who am I to offer this? Who am I to charge money for this? How could I possibly do this? I can't do it. There's other people who are more talented than me. And whenever you feel like that, I really want you to check in with these feelings that you're feeling right now and just remember that you're so embodied in these words. This is a part of you. It could not be separate from you, right? So this is how you fortify yourself against those self-doubts. And it's a necessary part, because if you want to make the impact that you know you're here to make, you're going to need to walk through that kind of jagged field of getting started, of getting momentum. So it can be, we can have all the best intentions in the world, and we can want to make a difference in the world. But if we're called to serve, if we're called to show ourselves in the public or interact with people in our expressions and our truth, then we have to make that leap from knowing what we are, expressing what we are to ourselves, and we have to step over that and go in, express our inner truth with other people. You could do it over the internet. You don't have to meet people in person, but it's the act of mingling with others, of giving them our service and receiving their energy in exchange, whether that's money or not, that really will allow you to make the impact you're here to make. And when you do get shy, go into that inner truth feeling and just feel that and know that that's what you're really here to do. You're here to be that person, right? So, I mean, I talked about how nurses, doctors, chiropractors can leave out the creativity part of their work. But what about the creatives, right? I know a lot of you too. You know, in fact, most of you are probably in that creative realm where you're jewelry makers, you're designers, you're artists. And you have this healing ability. You have this desire to really touch and impact others, but you can't really figure out how to do it, right? It's almost like you can't figure out how to be that serious at it, in that, okay, you're giving people jewelry, but you also want to coach them, right? I've had one of you, an amazing designer named Dorian, who really does heal people with her jewelry, but she couldn't figure out quite how to approach that, right? You're in a totally new field here. People in the last generation weren't really doing this. And if they were, they also didn't know how to talk about it because it wasn't really mainstream. But we are becoming mainstream people. I don't know if you've noticed, but we're no longer weird. We're no longer woo-woo. This is really what's going on. You know, I follow so many really high-level people just to hear what they have to say, and they're all following their intuition. The highest level CEOs like Richard Branson, who owns over 400 companies as a billionaire, to Bill Gates, to everybody. Marie Forleo, right? She talks about it. They all follow their intuition. They all talk about energy. I was just at Brendan Burchard's event a couple months ago, multimillionaire in the transformational space, just like us. And he was doing an exercise with the whole group of hundreds of people about us feeling energy, right? So you don't have to think about yourself anymore as being on the outskirts of anything. You can really know and feel embodied in the fact that everything you are is totally safe and okay to express. And when you start to do that, you will get results and you will finally feel that last bit of fulfillment that you've been searching for, right? The number one need of humans is to be accepted, and you won't really feel that unless you're adding this service piece into your work. All right. So you can have inner truth, you can feel it, you can know what your expressions are and express it to yourself. But unless you're serving others with it, that piece of acceptance may not feel as good as it could. So why don't we do a little drawing here? And I want you to draw, how does my soul want me to serve? And that may seem like a weird question, but before we come into this life, we all decide what we want to do, right? There are many different ways we can do it, right? Some people think we have just a theme that we're working with, like, you know, my theme might be marrying, being grounded with also, you know, accessing life after life and the other realms. Like, that's pretty much been a theme my whole life. And how I express that is up to me. But others believe that we've picked out a specific job title and purpose, and that's what's going to work for you. Whatever you believe, this drawing will help you see that. So this drawing won't mess up your belief system. It will just show you what you believe, and it will give you the right information from your higher self, because that's where this stuff comes from. So grab your stuff. I got mine right here. I will do a drawing as well, and I'll decode it for you so it can give you some help in decoding your own. And then when you're settled, just take a breath. And just say in your mind or out loud, higher self, how does my soul want me to serve? And then let me know in the chats when you're done, and then we'll come back. How does my soul want me to serve? How we all doing? It's a big question. Cool. So I see, Mary, you're done. Yeah. And as you know, if you're new to this, I suggest writing down what the colors mean on your paper next to each color. So like, for instance, I have yellow here. If I was new and I didn't know really what this all meant, I would write down joy underneath my yellow because yellow is my joy color. So if you don't have enough time to fully decode your drawing now, it's okay. You can do it afterwards and then come into the Facebook group and we can even help you out. So I'm going to decode mine for you. And it's so funny that I was just talking about how my inner truth is, you know, really bringing together the grounded world and the practical world and making money and business and all that stuff with, you know, accessing the higher self and all the other realms. Because that's kind of what showed up here. Surprise, surprise. So here's what we got. Oh, 1 second. Basil says, just popped on. Can you please tell me what the question was so I can art it? Yes. So we just did a drawing. How does my soul want me to serve? Because today we're talking about service and how we can really bring our inner truth and our expression out into the world and really serve through that. So can't wait to see your drawing, Basil, in the group. All right, so what do we have here? Kind of looks like a bit of a mess, but I have my raspberry color on the outside, which is like the framework for everything. And that is inspired action for me. That's joy mixed with action, my yellow mixed with my red, which means inspired action. So it's beautiful because how I do my business, how I serve is very inspired. I don't often plan things in advance. In fact, for this discussion series and lunch that I'm doing, I've had to wait almost into the last minute for like every little piece to bring on my partners, to create the events, to make my notes. I mean, it's a very big, complicated thing because I'm launching such a big program. And everything is happening perfectly timed as long as I wait for it and don't freak out that it's not there. And that's true for every single thing I've ever created. I will intuitively create things in advance, and then when I need them, they're done. It's quite extraordinary. And I can only say that listening to your intuition will allow that to happen more. So here we go. Inspired action is the framework for my business. Then we have my spirit color, which is all this gray. So spirit, higher self, talking to dead people, doing readings, all of that can be lumped into this color here. And of course, there's joy. And this color here and here is about inward creativity, really going deep meditation, letting things come out of that deep, solid place. Most of my paintings come from that place. So it's there. It's also where I do my coaching. So when I'm in a coaching session, I'm really in that place of deep listening and responding. So I'm not really coaching them. I'm really channeling for them the best, knowledge that they need from either my higher self or their guides, or, I'm really just in that deep receptive place. And that's really what this color means. I do have this red swirl here, and that is probably about taking people on this journey of taking their joy, which is this color, through these brown lines, which is about grounding. So I'm taking their joy, I'm grounding it with them, and then bringing them to a place of inspired action and deep inner listening. And for every single thing that I do, that is what happens. So whether it's a business class or a how to be more psychic class or an intuitive drawing class, or even the certified intuitive artist program, I am helping them access their inner truth more deeply. I'm just giving them the tools to do it. So that, how does my soul want me to serve, is how I'm serving. And I think I can probably tighten up. There's always room for growth and improvement. But it's good to know that I'm on the right track. So yeah, if you have decoded your drawings, write a little bit about it. Let us know in the chat. I'd love to hear about it. Or if you need some more time, like you probably do, then you can just post it in the Facebook group, and that link is right underneath this video. So this is just so exciting to me, bringing all of you together, really going in, scooping it all up, even the parts that you're not really crazy about, and bringing them together and going like this, right? Here you go, world. This is me. Compensate me for it, right? That term compensation, that happens naturally when you give. You're naturally compensated. Sometimes you have to put a price tag on that to be compensated for it, right? Other people won't read your mind. If you're giving something away for free, but you really want to be paid, you need to be able to ask for that, right? But when you have that in place and you're giving of yourself, of your entire inner truth, and you're expressing it in the ways that feel natural and wonderful to you, and you're being in service, you're going to feel fulfilled, right? There's no way you could not be fulfilled doing it. I feel like it's the best of both worlds, because we're not getting into that predicament of being an either or. Like, we're not just being a nurse and then drawing on the side. We're not just being a therapist, right, and being creative at home. And we're not just designing jewelry and leaving out the part about healing. We're combining it into both. And since I've done that in my business, I have really noticed a huge improvement in the quality of people I attract, how happy I am, how easy things are for me. And since I took out these beautiful women who are in the beta program last year, they're all still doing it. They're all still feeling really fulfilled by it. And they're all making money when they're going out there and sharing. So, I hope you didn't miss much. I was just rambling on about how awesome my certified intuitive artists are at making money, sharing their gifts, because it's balanced. You're giving, you're sharing, you're in a structured thing, you're healing, but you're also being creative at the same time. So you're really bringing forth all of those qualities that you have in one session, and you're blowing people away in a good way, and they're really happy to pay you for it. So I'll talk more about that on Friday. Like I said, if you're interested in the program, do stay tuned and turn in on Friday, because on Friday we're going to talk about the last piece of all of this stuff, which is inspired action, right? We can have the inner truth, we can have the expression, we can even have the service, right? But unless we keep putting our feet on the ground, we keep getting up every day, we keep listening to that inner voice and to that higher self and having inspired action. Look at how important inspired action is in my service, right? If I didn't have inspired action, I'd have no business, I'd have no people to serve, and I would be very sad, because that's a big part of my fulfillment. So yeah, does anybody have a word or two they want to say about their drawing? Cool. So Kate says, my service to others is giving people an honest, caring ear. Yes, that's beautiful. I love that. All right. So tell me, what kind of impact do you want to make on the world? When I was growing up, I always knew somehow, and don't laugh at me for this, all right? I'm going to tell you something really personal that I don't really share, because I feel like I'm going to be judged for it. And I never meant it, even as a kid, to be an egoic thing. but I'll tell you. So when I was little, I thought for a minute that I wanted to be a model because I saw one of those those commercials on TV about, do you want to be a teen model? Do you want to be in, magazines? And, um, I was like, oh yeah, that might be fun. And so I had my parents call the number and everything. And then it came time to do the, headshots and stuff, and the test. And I told my parents that I didn't want to be a model because it wouldn't ever put me in the history books. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why I said it. I had no idea of what would get me into the history books, but I just knew from very early on, and I knew even earlier that I was hoping to make an impact in the world, that I was here to serve, right? I was here to make a difference. I was here to impact people. And it wasn't something I could even suppress or hide. It was just that much of a part of me. Do you guys have that too? Because almost everyone I speak to who's attracted to my work does have that feeling inside of them that they're here to raise the vibration of Earth or heal the people or bring more consciousness, or however they term it. They're really here to make an impact. Let me know. That's very interesting to me. And don't laugh at my story because it's something, it's a little silly. So Bernard says that his service is radiating light. Exactly, right? You're radiating light. Why? Because it makes a beautiful, positive impact on the world, right? So what if, you went through the steps of knowing that, right? And you were expressing that in your own world, in your own room, in your own home, which is beautiful and does help, does make an impact. But what if you were to then go out and stand on a stage and do it with active people around you? What if you were to be on TV and do it? What if you were to write a book and do it as you were writing the book, right? There's always ways we can amplify our service and do it in a bigger way. And inspired action is what brings us the correct ways to do it, the ways that are aligned to us. Not everybody's going to be on TV. Not everybody's going to write a book. And whatever you do, as long as it's aligned to your higher self, to your soul, that's what's going to be the right thing for you to do. So, yeah, I know you can relate, right? Ben says, yeah. Kathy says, yes, yes, yes. Kate says, it isn't silly at all. I knew you would understand. And I know that you're the kind of people who are looking for that too. So rest assured, I know that I have created the Certified Intuitive Artist program to account for that. In most certifications, you have to do exactly what they say. They don't give you any kind of business structure or help when you're done. And they kind of they have good intentions and they teach you really wonderful things, but they're not necessarily designed to help you have that greatest impact and to stay in complete alignment, right? No one is meant to completely copy a modality and do it, because that's somebody else's work, right? But what I teach you in that program is really, I teach you everything you need to know to master intuitive art and do readings for other people, teach workshops on, the beginner class, do all of these wonderful things, even have a whole practice based on this modality where you do get to be creative and listen and coach and help people. But I also teach you how to combine it with your own stuff, with everything else that you've learned. So if you've done Reiki, how do you combine it with Reiki? If you do essential oils, how do you combine it with essential oils? If you're meant for, even bigger things, right? If you're meant to work with millions of people, how can you do that and how can you scale it? That's really where I'm differentiated here in this industry of certifications. I'm really going to help you tailor it to you and your inner truth and your service and your expressions, because I know how important that is for you to get the impact in this world that you were meant to have. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're what you say, Bernard, but you say that is scary. Lot of goodness. Spirit is just pushing this toward me. Well, I hope that's a good scary. There are definitely good scaries. Yeah, so thanks for resonating with this. I really hope that your drawings can help you clarify what your service is really meant to look like, because when you know that, it's like you finally have some structure, right? Like for years, I did so many different kinds of things. If I had had this, I could have maybe gone in the right direction a lot sooner and given up my day job a lot sooner, but I didn't. It took me 7 long years of starting up as a intuitive artist, working in a local metaphysical bookstore, doing readings. 7 long years to quitting my day job, because it took me that long to have a structure to put my service through, right? So you can kind of visualize it here. So this does look very structured, right? There's columns, there's a framework, there is a path that I take people down, and the inner truth and the expressions, the inner truth is not really structured at all. The expression is structured, but it's personal. It doesn't really go beyond yourself. This is how you take all of those things, you run it through here, and that is what is shown to the world. So you can kind of think of your drawing like that. And as you're kind of figuring that out and what it says, post it in the Facebook group so that we can all take a look. And you can go deeper. It's funny, I as I said, my guides will often come in during readings, and I had a feeling that they would come in today, and I can't quite, I need to stop speaking for a moment so that I can hear them, because they're standing over here. Not that you can see them, because it's just kind of like a bunch of sparkles in the middle of the room, but oh, they're so lovely. So they're really just saying everything that you feel in your heart about yourself is true. If you feel like you're here to serve, you are here to serve. Don't let the ego get in the way. Don't let those inner gremlins stop you from stepping out. Don't let anybody say, who are you to do this? Or you're too big for your britches, or any of those stupid phrases that people use to hold you back. And remember to be kind to the outside world as well, because they're just a reflection of your inner state of being. So if somebody is being negative to you about who you are or what you want to do or your big plans in the world, then just remember that they wouldn't be able to do that if you didn't have a little of those feelings yourself. So remember to go back to that inner truth embodiment, breathing in those feelings when you're feeling a little out of your depth, and definitely come to class on Friday when we talk about inspired action, because we have a plan now. This is like having a business plan. We know how we want to serve. We know what's going to go in the company, right? We know how we want to express ourselves, and what is being expressed, that inner truth. But on Friday, we're going to learn, how do you listen day by day to access that next step? How are you going to know what the next step is? How can you create a clear enough channel in yourself to really know when to stop talking and when to start channeling, and so that you can get that information that you really need to move forward? And yes, I will be talking about the Certified Intuitive Artist Program, but not the whole time. So it's not just going to be a big talk about that. I really will share with you how to get each next step when you need it through inspired action. I think we've all gotten in our own way when it comes to service and taking these steps that we know we need to take in order to get real fulfillment. And it always happens when we want to know too much ahead of time. We're being demanding of our higher selves, and we're saying, you need to show me the whole thing right now, or I won't do it, right? Like, you've ever gone to make an investment in a coaching and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this. I only have the first payment, but it feels so right. I'm going to do it. I did a couple of those things, and those are the courses that turned out to be the most life-changing that I've ever done. One of them was Christina Marassi's live event and class that she doesn't do anymore, but love her. I met so many amazing people through her and so many clients. I made so much money from being in that course. And I did it because it was a full body yes. It was like my higher self was telling me, you have to do this. This is totally for you. And I'm really glad that I listened because it really helped me launch my business. But I didn't know how I was going to pay for it. I didn't know in advance how I'd get to LA. I didn't know anything, but everything lined up when I needed it to. And same has been for my business. You know, I don't plan things out very far in advance. I have coaching clients on a 6-month basis. I also do classes sporadically. So like, I don't have a whole year's worth of income. It's just me. I just show up, it gets created, and I get a paycheck, which is people giving me money for my service. But if I didn't do the inspired action every day, it would just stop. And that's just the way my business goes. And it may change over time, but according to my soul, it's probably going to stay this way for a very long time. So you need to do business your own way, and only you can determine that. And that's really what we're going to talk about on Friday is how do you do the service? Yeah. So Kate says, I like to put those inner gremlins in timeout when they get too negative. Yeah. And thank you, Basil. She says, thank you for having your guides speak to us, Rachel. And you are awesome. Well, that is so wonderful. I can't believe it's almost an hour already. Wow, I have so much fun with you. I don't want this to end. Do you have any questions about this? Are you any clearer now about how you want to serve? We've kind of gone through, this is really where the money is able to come to you, right? I hope that's clear. You can have all of the expression and inner truth that you want, and that's enabling the money to come to you because you're being authentic. But when we're in service and when we're working with people, they will pay us. That is where compensation comes in. So that provides the channel for the money to come in, right? And so on Friday, we'll talk about how to sustain that, how to create that system, how to show up every day and get the information we need to get in order to make that a real business. And oh my goodness, my dreams for you, if you're in a day job, how do you get out? This is how you get out. You create this thing. You make sure you know what your truth is, you know how you want to express it, you know which way you want to serve, and then you can sustain it over time by listening to your higher self. Leave your day job. That would be awesome. I would love to take credit for giving you the information for that, though obviously you're the one doing the work. How do you combine 2 part-time jobs that you're doing, right? How do you put more creativity into the practice that you were already having? Or how do you add the healing in, right? How do you make your day the most fulfilling thing that it can be, right? Fragmentation is okay, right? Like that painting behind me, it's fragmented, but it's still pretty, right? You can still see the beauty in it. But how much more harmonious would it be? I get a lot more compliments on this painting, right? It's beautiful. It's very multicolored still, but things are flowing together. It looks much more peaceful, much more calm. And they're both beautiful in their own right, but I get way more compliments on this one than I do about that one. So it's up to you how you want your life to be. Another thing that I adore about having everything all in one job, if you could even call it a job, is that we are integrating right now our higher selves and our higher dimensional spirit with our physical bodies. If you're not into that game, then that's okay. You don't have to pay attention to this part. But a lot of us here understand that right now we're integrating our energies. We are ascending in the body. So we're adding all of our divine energy into our body. We're getting brighter. We are seeing amazing transformations and manifestations happen around us, sometimes instantly. And that's what adding all of your loves and truth into one job can do as well. You're integrating your job and your work as well as integrating yourself. So I see it as an awesome thing. I can't wait to go into the Facebook group and see all of your drawings. So let me just take a look at these comments. So, yep, awesome. So Kate, Basil, I can't wait for you to share as well. They're dying to get into that group and post their drawings. Please do. Please come. And if you have any questions, let me know. You know, I'm really here to serve you. I love having these talks, and yeah, sorry. Bye, Billy. And I can't wait to follow up with you. And I will see you all on Friday. So meet me over in the Facebook group, and I'll see you there. Lots and lots of love, everybody. Bye-bye.